Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with Frag Pizza. This is the most requested episode of Cooking with Frag of all time. We're waiting for a very special moment to do it, and the special moment is now. Experiment with quite a few different recipes. We came with a really nice deep dish pizza that's made in a cast iron skillet. We talked a little about cast iron skillets during the show, but let's just get started. I have the finished product here on the cutting board. I'm going to show you how to put everything together and throw it in the oven as well. This pizza is really amazing. It has amazing crispy crust, browns really well, nice crispy cheese. It's everything a pizza should be. This is the best homemade pizza I know how to make, and it is freaking amazing. I mean, just look at it. It's pizza, man. Everybody loves pizza. All right, so I'm going to pull this off the cutting board, and then we will begin. All right, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to make this pizza dough. This is a no-knead dough that takes 24 hours to rise. So it does take some time. Now, that being said, I also did this dough with just a store-bought whatever dough. Just went to the store and bought a ball of pizza dough. It still came out pretty good. Not as good as this dough, but if you don't feel like making dough or your dough doesn't turn out, you can run down to the store and buy a ball of pizza dough, and it'll work out okay. All right, so for this dough, it is 2 cups flour, 1/8 teaspoon instant yeast, not dry active, so it makes your dough rise. A little bit of salt. You can definitely adjust the salt levels in dough depending on your own taste. 1 tablespoon olive oil. And 3/4 to 1 cup water. You want the dough to look wet, but not like a puddle. You just take a spat and kind of stir it around. Real simple. And when it's all stirred up and if it looks good, all you have to do is throw saran wrap over this and wait 24 hours. You can certainly cook it before then, but the longer you let it sit, the more fluffy it's going to be. So this looks a little bit dry, so I'm just going to run over and grab a smidge of water. So that's it. That's how easy it is to make pizza dough. This also makes really amazing rolls. It's a really nice recipe. Got this one from Budget Bites. It's a solid one. Makes some of my favorite bread as well. So that's really it. You just cover it and wait. It'll start bubbling and fermenting and become delicious. All right, so next we're going to chop all of our ingredients for a pizza. I'm making a sausage, mozzarella, and mushroom pizza. One of my favorites. I got red onion around somewhere too. So I got these oyster mushrooms. It's one of my favorite mushrooms. They're really good roasting mushroom, develop a really nice flavor. Just cut the mushrooms off the stem. Getting little bits there. Usually save these little bits for stock and whatnot. Give those a quick little chop. Push them over here. I got these little ends of mushrooms using my leftovers. One moment. It's going to be an interesting transition. We're doing Cooking with Frag at the end of the broadcast now, so I try to get all my me's ready, but I'm used to having, a half hour beforehand to make sure everything's right there. That's okay. If the only thing we forgot was onion, we're doing all right. All right. All right, now for the fun part. Let's talk about cast iron pans. A cast iron pan is a great thing to have in your household. If you don't have a cast iron pan to cook this pizza in, you can also use like a Dutch oven. You can use a heavy ceramic pot. You can use a thicker pan as well. A cast iron pan can do just about anything you want it to. It can sear meat. It can cook pizzas like this. You can cook bacon in it, eggs. For about $40, you can get a pretty decent quality cast iron pan. It's really a great utility thing, and it can go in a very hot oven without being ruined. So you can see we have quite a bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, so it'll crisp up the crust. Let it sit in here for about 20 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put olive oil on my hands so I can spread it out. The dough is quite sticky, and that's the way you want it. So we're just going to try to get it to around to the edges of the pan. Work with it a little bit. Then we're going to try to push some of the air bubbles out as well. So you might have got a little heavy on the oil in the pan, but it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, we're getting there. Get some of the bubbles out. We're just going to kind of do this. Pop it, pinch it a little bit. And get that one out of there. Looks pretty good to me. You don't want to do that. You don't want to break it like I just did, but that's okay. It's a little rough with it. This recipe's pretty hard to mess up. Get it in the pan, get it in the hot oven. It'll crisp up and look beautiful. Okay. I want it to be a little bit more out there. Ideally, it spreads out to the very edge of the pan. My cast iron skillet's bigger than a normal skillet, so the recipe scales a little bit weird. All right, we're going to use jar pizza sauce here. I could totally teach you how to make a nice... Oh my god, my hands are so greasy. I could teach you how to make a nice red sauce, but for Cooking with Frag, my goal is to make food that is accessible to almost everybody. Making a nice red sauce takes a lot of time, and I'd love to show you guys how to make red sauce, but we don't have the time, so we use this jar stuff today. Just going to spoon it on there. I can't state how happy I am with this pizza recipe. Did several test recipes to make sure it was good. Quality assurance is a big thing for me with Cooking with Frag. When I was doing it before during the 2-year live stream challenge, I didn't have as much time to plan. I didn't like that. So not everything I cooked was something I was super, super happy with. I am very, very happy with this recipe. Let's try to avoid that hole there. Okay. All right, here's the trick with layering pizza. Clean up my station here, and we'll get everything on the cutting board. All right. Tiny little bit of cheese to start with. It's just like layering nachos. You can't put all the cheese on top. You can't put all the cheese on bottom. Tiny little bit of cheese. We'll go mushrooms. Usually save a couple mushrooms for the top if you like them. Get that nice crispy roasted mushroom flavor. Onion. Some sausages. More cheese. If you can, try to avoid getting cheese on the side of the pan, because that will cause a little bit of smoke. All right, there we go. So we have a nice mixture of cheese and goodies. Now we're going to add the rest of our onion, our sausage, more cheese, and then mushrooms, and we're done. This is my favorite pizza. More sausage, more cheese, mushrooms, and just a sprinkle more cheese for the browning. That's it, man. That is it. This is amazing pizza. You throw it in the oven at 550 for about 20 minutes. It becomes brown, crispy, and delicious. One note for this pizza, after you get it out of the pan, take 2 spatulas and pull it out of the pan as soon as you can. Obviously, you don't want it so hot it's flopping over, but if you leave it in the pan too long, it'll be a little bit soggy. So you want to get it onto a cooling rack within a couple minutes of it coming out of the oven. I'd say about 5 minutes. If you own a cast iron skillet, do yourself a favor when it comes out of the oven. I've made this mistake too many times. As soon as you take it out of the oven, place a towel like this on the handle. This allows you to know the handle's hot. The number one way cooks burn themselves is they pull a hot pan out of the oven, they put it on the counter or the cutting board or whatever, and then you come back to grab the pan, you go, oh my god, that is so hot. Then you have a giant burn on your hand. So anytime you take a pan out of the oven, especially a cast iron, which holds an amazing amount of heat, do that. That is it, guys. We're going to throw this in the oven, and that's going to be it for Cooking with Frag. I will show you the finished product once again. This will turn into this. I'd love to sit here and cook it for you guys, but it takes about 20-25 minutes, and we don't have that much time. 20 minutes. You got an amazing pizza. All right, I will field a couple of questions from the chat here before we end. We're going to hop over to the break screen, but I will talk to you guys for a moment. I hope that's helpful and helps some people Start cooking at home. Pizza is a very accessible food. It's quite cheap to make, and it's great for doing leftovers. Yeah, indeed, Alton Reese. It's a very easy way to burn yourself. How is the sausage prepared? Good question. Just bought some packets of sausage and sauteed it in a pan, put it in the fridge. So I pre-cooked it before the show, which is the way you want to do it. You don't want to put raw sausage on pizza because it may or may not cook all the way through. It's also quite greasy, and the cheese is also greasy as well. So you cook off some of the grease and cool it down first. How long should you preheat the oven for? You want to make sure it's a solid 550 degrees. If you're doing a store-bought dough, perhaps drop it down to about 525 as it crisps up a little bit more. Ha, yes, indeed. We made one with olives and one without. I don't personally like olives on my pizza, but that's okay. What kind of cheese you use? I just use a flat mozzarella for this. You can do about any cheese blend you want for pizza. Mozzarella and cheddar is pretty classic. I find cheddar to be a little bit greasy, so I try to be really light on it if I do use any at all. Now once again, you can use pizza stone, ceramic Dutch oven, cast iron skillet. But I thought it was a neat way to cook pizza. If you do have a cast iron skillet, it makes a really amazing deep dish. Calories, a lot, Popsky, but that's just pizza for you. All right, guys, that's going to do it. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment of the video on YouTube as well. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is episode 4 of Cooking with Frag since it's been rebooted. Episode 3, I've been told. Thank you all for watching. That's all we got for this time. Until next time, Frag out.